In week 3 of this year's Keswick Convention, we follow our theme of sent, the concept of serving God's mission by showing Christ's love to the world. The book of Acts tells the story of God sending his gospel to the ends of the earth through his people. David Cook is a lecturer in preaching at Presbyterian Theological College, Victoria, Australia. He's going to open the book of Acts at the convention and discuss why it has such an important message for Christians.
Martin Lloyd-Jones said, and I quote, "There is no greater tonic in the realm of the Spirit than a thorough reading of that book." And when I heard that, I thought he was talking about Romans, which he spent so many years preaching on, but he was actually talking on the book of Acts. And I think the book of Acts is a great spiritual tonic for believers. The purpose of God is unstoppable and cannot be frustrated. And at the heart of God's purpose is his gospel. So I'll give you what I believe to be the purpose of God. God's purpose is to glorify himself through saving people who hear and believe the gospel of his Son, which is carried to the ends of the earth by his Spirit-empowered people. Now, I believe that's the purpose of God. And I believe that the book of Acts in 28 chapters is showing us the outworking of that purpose. Therefore, the gospel is unstoppable because God's purpose is unstoppable, and God's purpose cannot be frustrated.
You also talk about the nurturing word. Can you give us a brief taster to whet our appetites?
Yeah, the remarkable thing about Acts is it shows us how powerfully God uses his powerful word to bring people to salvation. But also, it reminds us that that word which saves is the word which nourishes and nurtures and brings us to maturity. So an example of that is when Paul is leaving the elders of the Ephesians church in chapter 20 and verse 32, he says, "I'm leaving you, but I commit you, I leave you to God and the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and able to give you an inheritance amongst those who are sanctified." So it's a word which saves powerfully, and it is a word which brings to maturity powerfully.
Messengers with a message. How can you encourage us today to know that we are sent, just as the early church was sent, to the ends of the earth?
Well, there's much debate about the book of Acts, how we interpret it. Is the book of Acts being descriptive, merely telling us what happened in the life of the early church? Or is it being prescriptive, that is telling us what must also happen now? I believe the book of Acts is descriptive, it is narrative, but it is highly suggestive as well. So the church, in a sense, is a model to us, the Spirit-empowered people of God, taking the gospel to the ends of the earth. And when you put that together with the rest of the Bible and allow the Bible to interpret itself, you know that that is the heart of God. The heart of God is he takes no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but would people be saved and come to know him and have life in him.
Finally, David, thank you so much again. What is one thing you would want conventioners to leave with from your studies from Acts?
A greater confidence in God as the sovereign evangelist and a greater boldness in sharing his gospel that people might be saved.